What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be going over how to replace the center serving on your bowstring. Now there's several reasons why you would want to replace the center serving, among those being knock fit, slippage, or just wear and tear, fraying, anything like that. It needs to be addressed. So the first thing with knock fit, over time as you click your knock on and off the string every single time that you shoot, it can wear that center serving down right underneath your D-loop and cause loose knock fit. Another thing you can experience is slippage, and this is very common underneath the D-loop. Now you won't know that this is happening just by visual inspection. A lot of times if everything else is right on your bow, you'll start to experience a miss in elevation, especially at longer range. Now when you experience that, nothing else has moved, it might be time to cut off your D-loop and take a good look at what's happening underneath. That's exactly what has happened with this center serving and why I'm replacing it today and why I'm making a video for you guys on how to do it. Another reason why you would want to replace it is just wear and tear from the elements. Bowstrings, especially on a hunting bow, typically have a pretty hard life. It experiences rain, change from hot to cold. Any of those elements can cause slippage in the center serving. Any slippage, any movement, fraying, worn down center serving, none of that is a good thing. You want to make sure that your center serving is in great shape so you don't experience accuracy problems down the road. Now this string and cable setup has got a full season on it with tons of abuse and tons of arrows shot through it. These are the ABB Platinum Series strings and cables, high quality string and cable, but we're still experiencing slippage underneath the D-loop. So like I say, in today's video we're going to go over how to replace the center serving, how to tie on new knock sets, and how to tie on a new D-loop properly. So anyway, let's get into it. Now to do this job properly, you are going to need a bow press in order to take the tension out of the string so that you can weave the serving through it while you're tying it. I'm just going to throw the bow in the press just like this. I'm going to take a couple of measurements before I get started with this job. So the first measurement I'm going to take, I'm just going to take a bow square and I'm going to put it on the string just like this. Line up my original knock sets and see where that comes down through the burger hole, and that comes right down through the center of the burger hole. So by just double checking that measurement, I'm going to know where to tie on my knock sets when I have the new center serving on. The next measurement I'm going to take is just how long the center serving itself is. We've got 4 inches of center serving. That is not super crucial because when you take the center serving off, the string underneath is going to look brand new and you're going to know exactly where the center serving started and stopped. But I like to take that measurement anyway just so that I have a mental note of how long the center serving is on this set of strings. Alright, so as you can see, I've got some slippage right here underneath the lower knocking point. I've already cut off my D-loop, but if the D-loop were on this string, you wouldn't see that slip because the D-loop would be covering it right there. You don't want to see any of that orange from the bowstring fiber coming through right there. So if you have a slip like this is going to cause inaccuracies in elevation, as well as it can oftentimes cause a lot of knock pinch. So this is why I am replacing my center serving. So now before I tear off this old center serving, I'm going to double check my knock fit and figure out what size of center serving I want to go with. I pretty much already know what I'm going to go with on this bow. It's going to be a .018 and it's the Power Grip BCY. But I'm going to show you what good knock fit and bad knock fit looks like. So we're going to take an arrow and we're going to knock it on an existing part of the center serving that's not worn down. Knocks on nice. We're going to rotate that arrow back and forth and make sure that it's not moving the string itself. If you move this knock back and forth and it moves your peep sight or the string, that knock fit is likely too tight. So I like that just like it is right there. Pop this off and I'll show you what bad knock fit's going to look like. So we're going to go with a larger .020 Power Grip and we're just going to wrap a little bit below the existing center serving and knock it up to see how it looks. Just a few wraps here. Get enough wraps on there to knock an arrow and check your fitment. Just like that. I'm going to take my arrow again. I'm going to knock it on there. Took a little bit of pressure to knock. I'm going to move it. And it's ever so slightly trying to move my peep sight. Not terrible, but just a little bit. So that Nock fit is just slightly too tight. So I like this original Nock fit. This original is likely 0.018, like I say right here. So that's what I'm gonna rewrap the center serving with. But I just wanted to double check Nock fit and make sure that I'm using the right stuff. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and tear this old stuff off. We're gonna be really, really careful doing this so that we don't cut or damage any of the actual fibers below. So I'm gonna start with my Nock sets. I'm just taking this razor blade and just going with the string. Once you get a little knot cut off, you'll be able to roll that stuff right off. Okay, got that Nock set off. Kind of want to just cut a little bit and pry at it with your thumb. Like I say, you don't want to go too deep and damage your actual string. Take your time with this. You're not in any rush, and you don't want to buy a new bowstring. So, okay, got the old Nock sets cut off. So now I'm going to start at the back and make a little cut just to fray and loosen that. There you go. See? Now it'll just spin right off there, just like that. So once you've got that initial cut made, you just take your finger and roll it like this. Buzz all that old center serving off. See how all that string and cable is nice and clean underneath? So you're gonna know where to put it back to. The reason I like to cut it from the back and roll it all off is it gives me an idea of how much new serving I'm gonna need in order to rewrap that section. Now when you get towards the end, that serving is gonna be weaved directly in the center of your bowstring. And you wanna find the center of the bowstring anyway to start your new serving, so I like to leave that in there. Then I'll take pressure off the string with my bow press. Just like that. So that there is where I'm going to start my new stuff. So now I'm going to take this serving out and I'm going to measure it with my new BCY power grip right on the end. So there is the end of the old serving, and I've got my new serving here. I'm going to pull another about 6-8 inches to work with. Now I have my new serving material to put on the bow. I'm going to take my new serving material, go through the center of the string. I'm going to take enough tag line to lay over the entirety of how long that center serving is going to be, and some. So I'm going to pull maybe 6-8 inches of this through and then hold it there. I'm going to put pressure back on the bowstring. Now I'm going to take this tag line and leave it out. I'm going to take the long line, make one wrap, just like that. I'm going to take the tag line and lay it over. Then I'm going to make 10 wraps right over the top of that tag line. Now I made 10 wraps. I'm going to take this long line, pull it nice and tight, cinch it. I'm going to take this tag line, lay it back out, take the long line, wrap it once, just like that, and then lay the tag line back over. Continue to wrap, another 10 wraps. Now once I've got another 10 or so wraps on it, I'm going to take that tag line, leave it out again, take the long line, wrap it once, snug it all up nice and tight, lay that tag line back over. So by doing it this way, you're interlocking this tag line with the long line, and that's going to help with slippage in the future. All right, let's continue this all the way down. All right, now that we're getting towards the end, I've only got about a 1/4 inch left to serve. I'm going to take this tag line, leave it out. I'm going to wrap it about 4 or 5 more times. just like that. I'm going to take your main line, put it over the bowstring, make a loop like this. I'm going to feed this line through that loop 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm going to take this remainder of the lead line, lay it over, just like that. I'm going to keep this nice and tight. And then I'm going to serve over the tag of the main line with this loop. 1, 2, 3. And as I'm doing that, it's pulling loops out of the back end that I just wrapped. So finishing off this center serving just like I would a peep sight. And when you run out of all the loops, you're going to end up holding your finger here on the back end and take this main line and pull it through. Just like that. You're going to take that, pull that nice and tight. Just like that. You're all finished. Now we're going to cut off these tag ends. Like that. I'm going to burn them down. And just like that, we have a finished center serving. Now we can tie on our Nock sets, tie up the D-loop. Good to go. That thing ain't going nowhere. Everything's intertwined. Nice and tight. Solid center serving. Alright, so now that I've got my center serving tied, I'm going to clip on this bow square. I'll be able to fine tune everything with my wrist afterward. This is just going to be a starting point for tune. I'm going to tie the first Nock set on up top, and see how we've got these lines on this square? It's kind of nice little reference point as to where I'm going to tie these Nock sets on. I'm going to start the first one up top, and we're just going to do overhand knots above and below. Okay, got that first one started. I'm going to clip this off. I'll make sure these are pretty tight. You're going to stack these side by side. I like to do about 3 or 4 knots on the top. The last one I'm going to finish off with a double knot. Okay. Cut those. Burn your ends. Now, with the Nock in there, I'm going to tie my bottom Nock set. Now on the bottom Nock set, I want to leave about a 1/16 of an inch of gap, so that when I'm at full draw, that Nock doesn't have any pinch. Perfect, just like that. Again, stacking them side by side. We're going to do a double overhand on the last knot. Just like that. Perfect. All right, now we're gonna tie our D-loop. I've cut off a piece of D-loop material here, maybe, I don't know, 6-7 inches. I'm gonna take the end, I'm gonna fluff up the end just like this. Nice and fluffed up like that. So those fibers are exposed. I'm gonna take a lighter. I'm gonna burn the end of it. Just like that. Let it sit for a little bit. And just touch the end of the lighter just like that. That creates a nice little ball. See that? So for a right-handed shooter, we're going to take this J and we're going to come on the inside of the string or the left side of the bow as the front cam is facing to our left. We're going to come on that side. We're going to take both tag ends and pull it through this loop. Just like that. And suck it down right against that top Nock set. Just like that. So that ball is facing away from us or on the right hand side of the bow if you're a right-handed shooter. We're going to suck this down nice and tight. I like to take a pair of pliers and kind of pull this bottom together like that. Squeeze this top a little bit. Just like that. Grab it. Just like that. So now our top is tied. Now we're going to take this tag end here, go on the outside of the bow, again on the right side or the quiver side for a right-hand shooter. I'm going to loop down through the center, over, back over on my side, through that center, just like that. Now we're going to kind of adjust this close to where we want it before we suck it down. Typically I like to make this about a 1/2 to 3/4 inch on the inside once it's all sucked up. So right now we're at about 1/2. Give it a little bit more because when we suck this up with pliers it's going to stretch a little bit. So now we're going to pull all the rest of the slack out of that thing. Just like that. Then I like to take my pliers and I'll go on the inside, spread it. Just like that. Again, I'm going to take these pliers, make sure this is all sucked up together. That's nice and tight. Now we're going to measure it. About 5/8 of an inch. Perfect. So now we're going to take this tag end and we're going to cut off with about, oh, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch left. I'm going to cut that off. Then we're going to fluff this up. We're going to burn that, and make sure when you burn that you don't get the flame near the actual D-loop itself or down here where it attaches or on your serving. You just kind of want to separate this like that. Get your flame to go high. Keep it a little ways away, burn that down. Just like that. Let it sit a little bit. Mushroom it up. It looks just like that. I'm going to take my pliers again. Spread it one more time. And we're golden. Got a nice D-loop tied in, nice and solid. Alright guys. that's it. We got a brand new center serving tied on. We got the new Nock sets tied on and a new D-loop. Ready to get this thing tuned up and shooting like it was before. Guys, if you want to help support the channel, head over to whitetailfit.com/shop. Grab yourself a hat, t-shirt, hoodie, maybe some arrow wraps and vanes. Anything you purchase on the website will go directly to help support this channel. Hopefully you found this video informative. Appreciate y'all watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.